Okay, hello. Our first lesson of the year for Algebra 1. This is section 2.1, which is chapter 2. Yes, we are skipping chapter 1. That is all pre-algebra stuff. These problems are found on page 80. So 2.1, chapter 2, section 1, page 80, our first lesson of the year. Number 1 is one you need to read and try to answer on your own. But I want to start with number 2. The problem says s minus 5 equals 3. That's an equation because it has an equal sign in it. So instead of saying s, how about saying what number? What number minus 5 gives you an answer of 3? I'll say it again. What number minus 5 gives you an answer of 3? And a lot of you probably can do that in your head, which is great. The answer would be 8, because 8 minus 5 does equal 3. And those are the easier ones that we can do in our head. And I want you to do those in your head. But let's solve these algebraically, starting with the easier ones, because some of these other ones coming up, we won't be able to do them in our head. What you want to do here, and you've seen this before, is you want to get rid of that minus 5. So you think opposite. How do I get rid of a minus 5? What's the opposite? I think I want to add 5. If I add 5 there, I must also add 5 to the other side. So now you think over here, let's put an equal sign there. 3 plus 5 is that 8. 3 plus 5. Then over here, these two right here, that's a minus 5, also called a negative 5, same thing. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. So really, that's gone. That's 0. And I just have this s right here to bring down. So my answer is s minus 8. We said 8 was the answer. Did that in our heads earlier. Let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 here. 17 equals w minus 4. In other words, 17 would equal what number minus 4? Well, I want you to realize that I could switch it around. I could put the w minus 4 first, then my 17, and that's perfectly acceptable. So now we're reading what I have in red right there. What number minus 4 gives you an answer of 17? A lot of you are thinking, I think it's going to be 21. 21 minus 4 is 17. That's great. We can do it in our heads, but let's finish it algebraically. You should notice you want to add 4 to both sides, because a negative and a positive 4 becomes 0. I can X them out. Equal sign just comes down. My W comes down, and I simply add 17 plus 4 over here is that 21 I spoke of. And there is my answer. W equals 21. Let's take a look at the next one. Number 4. Number 4, k minus 8 equals negative 7. In other words, what number minus 8 gives you an answer of negative 7? Now this is a difficult one, probably one you may be able to do in your head, but may not. So let's solve it algebraically. You should notice that I want to add 8 to both sides. That way, they're opposite and I can X it out. So I must also add 8 to this side. I bring down my k. A lot of you want to draw arrows, that's fine. I bring down my equal sign. And then what's negative 7 plus 8? A lot of people like to write it like this. Instead of up and down vertically, they like to see it horizontally, like this over here. Negative 7 plus 8, use your calculator if you have to, is 1. So my answer is k equals 1. I'm going to skip number 5 and go to number 6. 8.4 equals y minus 4.6. In other words, 8.4 equals some number minus 4.6. Let's flip that around. Let's put the y minus 4.6 first, then my equal sign, 8.4. I think that's how we're more used to seeing it. Again, this is probably one you may have trouble doing in your head. So let's do it algebraically. You should notice that I want to add 4.6. Minus and a plus are opposites, so they become 0. I can exit out. But I must add 4.6 over here as well. And I come up with an answer. Well, my y just comes down, and my equal sign just comes down. And let's add. Use a calculator if you want to, but I can go 4 and 6 is 10, so carry the 1, 0. That'd be 13, 13.0. My answer, y equals 13.0. Let's do number 7 together. Number 7, fractions. 3/8 equals t minus 1/8. In other words, the fraction 3/8 would equal some fraction minus 1/8. Let's flip it around. Let's put the t minus 1/8 first, then equals my 3/8. So what I want to do algebraically here, that's a minus, so I want to do the opposite, which is add. Add 1/8 to each side. What I do to one side, I must do the same thing to the other side. Well, since these are opposites, I can X them out. And then I would bring down my t and bring down my equal sign, and then add. What's 3/8 plus 1/8? Now off to the side, I'm going to write it horizontally across. I think that would equal 4/8. But don't ever leave an answer of 4/8. You should recognize 4/8 is really 1/2. It reduces to 1/2. One more that I want to work with you now, and then we'll do the rest of these in class together. I want to go all the way to number 15. Number 15. This one reads 20 equals negative 12 plus v. In other words, 20 equals negative 12 plus some number. Some number is my v variable. Well, couldn't I flip this around? I could put the negative 12 plus v, then my equals 20. Then what you have to realize is you have to get rid of a minus 12. What's the opposite of a minus 12? And that is plus 12. So I want to add 12 to each side. A negative and a positive are opposites, so that's where I can exit out. I can bring down my v and also bring down my equal sign, and then I finally add. 20 plus 12 is 32. There's my answer. So that's your notes for section 2.1, page 80. Thank you for watching.